The medical bay hummed with alien technology that Markuschin still couldn't fully understand, even after 6 months aboard the Valdres station. The sleek surfaces gleamed under soft blue lighting, and the air carried that distinct metallic scent of advanced filtration systems. He shifted uncomfortably on the examination table, the synthetic material adjusting automatically to his body temperature. "Please remain still, human Marcus," came the melodic voice from behind him. Nurse Zarathil moved with the fluid grace typical of her people, the Synthari. Her tall, elegant frame was covered in pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer slightly under the medical bay's lights. Forearms worked independently as she prepared various instruments, each movement precise and practiced. Marcus watched her reflection in the polished wall panel, noting how her large, violet eyes occasionally glanced in his direction. The Synthari were known throughout the galaxy for their medical expertise, their four-armed anatomy making them naturally suited for complex procedures. What most species didn't know was their curious cultural practices regarding healing bonds. "Just a routine checkup, right?" Marcus asked, trying to keep his voice light. The translator implant behind his ear converted his English into the harmonic tones of Galactic Standard, though he'd been learning to speak it directly. "Indeed," Zarathil replied, approaching with a scanning device that looked like a crystalline flower. "The station administrator requires monthly health evaluations for all residents. Your species is still new to our medical databases." That was putting it mildly. Humans had only made first contact with the Galactic Council 18 months ago, and Marcus was part of the first exchange program. Earth's governments had selected 200 volunteers to live and work on various alien stations and worlds, gathering information about galactic civilization while serving as cultural ambassadors. The scanner hummed as it passed over his chest, and Marcus noticed Zarathil's secondary arms were trembling slightly. "Everything all right?" he asked. She paused, her violet eyes meeting his brown ones. "Your biorhythms are unusual. Very strong. It is difficult to maintain professional composure." Marcus frowned. "Is that bad? Should I be worried?" No, Zarathil said quickly, all four hands moving in what he'd learned was a Synthari gesture of reassurance. "Humans emit powerful life force signatures. It is why your species has been so fascinating to the medical community. Your cellular regeneration rates, your adaptability, your emotional resonance frequencies." The scanner beeped, and Zarathil's expression shifted to something Marcus couldn't quite read. Her people had subtle facial expressions, but he'd been getting better at interpreting them. "What is it?" he asked. "You have sustained minor cellular damage to your left shoulder. Recent, within the past few hours." Her secondary arms were already reaching for treatment supplies. "How did this occur?" Marcus rotated his shoulder experimentally. "Oh, that. I was helping Engineer Court move some heavy equipment in the maintenance bay. Probably pulled something." He hadn't even noticed any pain, but then, again, humans were notorious throughout the galaxy for ignoring minor injuries. Zarathil's four hands worked in perfect coordination, two holding scanning devices while the others prepared a bioregenerative patch. This level of damage would send most species to emergency care. "Yet you continued working?" "It didn't hurt that much," Marcus said with a shrug, which made Zarathil's eyes widen. "Humans are pretty tough. We evolved on what most aliens consider a death world." "Yes, I have read the reports." She applied the regenerative patch with surprising gentleness. "Extreme weather variations, dangerous predators, toxic plants, unstable tectonic activity, and a star that regularly bombards your planet with harmful radiation. By galactic standards, Earth should be uninhabitable. But we made it work," Marcus said proudly. "Humans are adaptable. We don't just survive, we thrive." Zarathil's hand still on his shoulder. "The healing bond is forming faster than expected," she murmured, almost to herself. "Healing bond?" Marcus turned to look at her properly. "What's that?" Her pale blue skin darkened slightly, what passed for a blush among her people. "It is a medical procedure. When treating injuries, Synthari healers form temporary neural links with patients to better monitor recovery. It is standard practice." "Okay," Marcus said slowly. "So why do you look like you just admitted to stealing something?" The darkening of her skin intensified. "The bond with humans is more intense than expected. Your neural patterns are very strong, very distinctive. The connection forms quickly and She paused, searching for words. It is difficult to sever. Marcus felt a strange tingling sensation where her hands touched his shoulder, like mild electricity. How long does it usually last? With most species? A few minutes after treatment concludes. Zarathil's voice grew quieter. With humans? The research is limited, but preliminary data suggests longer. How much longer? We are uncertain. The tingling sensation was spreading, and Marcus noticed he could sense something odd at the edge of his consciousness. It was like having someone else's emotions gently brushing against his own thoughts. Zarathil, what exactly aren't you telling me? She stepped back, removing her hands from his shoulder, but the sensation remained. Among my people, healing bonds that persist beyond treatment have cultural significance. What kind of significance? They indicate compatibility. Deep compatibility. Her violet eyes met his again. Such bonds have not been documented between Synthari and other species before humans arrived. Marcus slid off the examination table, testing his shoulder. The regenerative patch had worked perfectly, better than any human medical technology could achieve. So this bond thing, it means we're medically connected? In a manner of speaking, yes. I can sense your physical condition, your emotional state. The connection allows for more precise treatment, but it also. She trailed off. Also what? Creates intimacy. Shared experiences. Among my people, persistent healing bonds are often the foundation of life partnerships. Marcus blinked. Life partnerships? Like marriage? Zarathil nodded slowly. The concept is similar, though our practices differ from human customs. A laugh escaped Marcus before he could stop it. The absurdity of the situation hit him all at once. So you're telling me that by getting a medical checkup, I accidentally got engaged to my alien nurse? The bond is not intentional, Zarathil said quickly. It simply formed due to your species' unusual biorhythmic patterns. I should have warned you of the possibility, but the research suggested it was unlikely. Hey, relax, Marcus said, noticing her distress through their connection. I'm not upset. Just surprised. He paused, considering. Actually, that explains why I can feel your emotions right now. You can? Her surprise rippled through the bond. Yeah. You're nervous, embarrassed, and something else, worried? Marcus tilted his head. Worried about what? Zarathil's four hands moved in a complex gesture he didn't recognize. In Synthari culture, healing bonds carry obligations. Responsibilities. If I cannot sever this connection within a reasonable timeframe, then, by law and tradition. Then, what? Then, you would be considered under my protection and care. Permanently. She looked down at her feet. The closest human translation would be ownership. Marcus's eyebrows shot up. Ownership? Not in the way humans might understand it. Synthari partnerships involve mutual caretaking, shared resources, joint decision-making. But, the medical professional bears primary responsibility for their partner's well-being. So if we can't break this bond, Marcus said slowly, then, according to your people's laws, you'd basically own me? The translation is imperfect, but, yes. Marcus was quiet for a moment, processing this information. The connection between them hummed with Zarathil's anxiety, but, underneath it, he sensed something else. Hope? Affection? It was difficult to parse alien emotions through a psychic link he didn't understand. Can I ask you something? He said finally. Of course. Do you want to break the bond? Zarathil's emotional state shifted dramatically, surprise and confusion flooding through their connection. That is not the relevant question. What matters is your consent to this situation. That wasn't what I asked. She was quiet for a long moment. No, she said softly. I do not wish to break the bond. Why not? Because. She hesitated. Because in the 6 months you have been on this station, I have found your presence pleasant. Your species' emotional openness is refreshing after a lifetime among the more reserved galactic civilizations. Your resilience and optimism in the face of challenges inspire those around you. And your capacity for caring extends beyond your own kind. Marcus remembered the incidents she was referring to. He'd helped the insectoid Crixtal workers when their habitat module malfunctioned, learned basic sign language to communicate with the deaf Morquan engineer, and spent his off hours teaching human games to the station's children, regardless of species. Plus, he said with a grin, humans are apparently really good at healing bonds. A sound escaped Zarathil that was probably laughter. Your biorhythmic patterns are uniquely compatible with Synthari physiology. The medical applications alone could revolutionize treatment protocols. So keeping the bond would benefit both of us? In theory, yes. Though there would be adjustments required. Such as? You would need to learn Synthari customs. I would need to understand human emotional expressions better. We would need to establish shared living quarters, coordinate our work schedules, navigate the legal implications across multiple species jurisdictions. Marcus could feel her growing excitement through the bond as she spoke, even though her voice remained clinically detached. Sounds complicated. Extremely so. Good thing humans like challenges. Zarathil looked up at him sharply. You are considering this seriously? I mean, let's look at the facts, Marcus said, settling back against the examination table. I'm stuck on an alien space station for the next 2 years anyway. I like you, you apparently like me, and, according to space medicine, we're magically compatible. Plus, if I understand correctly, being bonded to the station's head medical officer would probably come with some perks. There would be certain privileges, yes. Access to restricted research areas, priority medical care, exemption from some station regulations. And, you'd get a human test subject for your medical research. Win-win. You would consent to medical experimentation? Marcus waved a hand. Within reason. Nothing dangerous, but, if studying human physiology helps improve treatment for everyone, I'm in. Through the bond, he felt Zarathil's amazement and growing affection. Your species truly is remarkable. Most beings would find the concept of permanent psychic connection disturbing. Maybe, Marcus admitted. But, humans have always been social creatures. We form deep bonds anyway with family, friends, romantic partners. This is just more literal than usual. And, you do not mind that others would consider you my responsibility? Marcus considered this. Do your people treat their bonded partners badly? No. Quite the opposite. Bonded pairs are revered in Synthari society. They represent the highest form of trust and cooperation. Then, I don't see the problem. He stood up, testing his shoulder again. Besides, someone needs to keep an eye on me. I have a terrible habit of ignoring injuries. I have noticed this tendency. So it's settled then? Marcus extended his hand in a human gesture of agreement. Partners? Zarathil looked at his outstretched hand uncertainly. It's called a handshake, Marcus explained. Humans do it to seal agreements. Tentatively, Zarathil reached out with one of her 4 hands to clasp his. The moment their skin touched, the bond between them strengthened noticeably, becoming a warm, constant presence in both their minds. Partners, she agreed. Great. Now, I hate to be practical right after our romantic medical bonding ceremony, but I should probably report this to Administrator Vexlon before the rumors start spreading. Rumors? Trust me, news travels fast on space stations. Someone's going to notice that the human and the head nurse are suddenly, psychically linked. Marcus headed toward the medical bay exit. Plus, I'll need to send a message to Earth. My mom's going to want to know about her new alien daughter-in-law. Daughter-in-law? Human family terminology. Don't worry, you'll love her. She makes excellent pasta, and she's been dying to meet aliens ever since first contact. As they walked through the station corridors together, Marcus noticed how other beings stepped aside respectfully when they saw Zarathil. Her position as head medical officer clearly carried significant status. Question, he said as they entered the administrative section. In this arrangement, do I keep my job in the engineering department? Certainly. Though you may find yourself assisting in medical research as well. Cool. I always wanted to learn alien medicine. He paused outside Administrator Vexlon's office. One more thing, how do I address you now? Is there a title or something for bonded partners? Zarathil's skin took on that pleased, darker hue again. Among my people, you would call me Zarathil Cashin. The suffix indicates a permanent healing bond. And you'd call me? Marcus Thrall. It means one who is protected and cherished. I like it. Marcus pressed the door chime. Ready to make this official? Through their bond, he felt her nervous excitement. Ready. The door slid open to reveal Administrator Vexlon, a tall, reptilian Zachary with golden scales and intelligent yellow eyes. Ah, human Marcus and Nurse Zarathil. How may I assist you? Well, Marcus said, glancing at his new partner, we have some interesting news about human synthery medical compatibility. As they entered the office together, Marcus reflected on how dramatically his life had just changed. This morning he'd been a human engineer on an alien space station. Now he was a bonded partner to one of the most respected medical professionals in the sector, with all the responsibilities and privileges that entailed. It wasn't exactly how he'd imagined his alien cultural exchange experience would go, but then, again, humans had always been adaptable. And if there was one thing he'd learned about life among the stars, it was that the most interesting developments were usually the ones you never saw coming. Through their connection, he felt Zarathil's contentment and anticipation for their shared future. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, and that, Marcus thought, was very human indeed. 3 weeks after the bonding ceremony, Marcus was beginning to understand why Synthari partnerships were considered sacred among galactic civilizations. The healing bond had evolved into something far more complex than either of them had anticipated, creating connections that went beyond simple emotional awareness. He stood in the shared laboratory that Administrator Vexlon had assigned to their new research partnership, watching Zarathil work with 4 different instrument arrays simultaneously. Through their bond, he could feel her concentration, the satisfaction she took in precise measurements, and the underlying excitement about their latest discovery. The cellular regeneration rates are unprecedented, Zarathil murmured, 2 hands working on data analysis while her other pair prepared tissue samples. Human healing factors increase by 37% when exposed to Synthari bioresonance frequencies. And your people's natural healing abilities are enhanced by human emotional stability, Marcus added, reviewing the readouts on his display. It's like our species were designed to complement each other medically. What they'd discovered was revolutionary. Not only did the bonding process create psychological compatibility, but it generated measurable improvements in physical health for both species. Zarathil's natural healing abilities were amplified by Marcus's emotional equilibrium, while his body's repair mechanisms were enhanced by her biorhythmic patterns. The door chimed, and Dr. Yextai entered. The elderly Synthari physician had been initially skeptical of their arrangement, but the research data had converted him into an enthusiastic supporter. His traditional robes marked him as a senior member of the Synthari Medical Collective. The council's preliminary review is complete, Dr. Yextai announced, his 4 hands carrying various data tablets. They are intrigued by your findings. Intrigued enough to approve the expanded research proposal? Zarathil asked hopefully. More than approved. They want to establish a permanent human synthery medical exchange program. You two would head the research division. Marcus felt Zarathil's excitement spike through their bond. That's incredible, he said. What would that involve? Additional human volunteers would be brought to Synthari medical facilities, with willing participants from both species attempting to form healing bonds. If successful, the implications for emergency medicine, surgery, and treatment of chronic conditions could transform healthcare across multiple star systems. Through the laboratory windows, Marcus could see the bustling activity of the station's main corridor. Beings from dozens of species went about their daily routines, unaware that a medical revolution might be developing in the lab above them. There's more, Dr. Yextai continued. The Galactic Medical Authority has requested a presentation at their annual conference on Kepler Station. They want to see a live demonstration of the bonding process and its effects. A live demonstration? Marcus asked. In front of the galaxy's top medical professionals? Indeed. It would be the largest audience ever assembled to observe human medical capabilities. Marcus could feel Zarathil's nervousness through their connection, mixed with professional pride. What exactly would we need to demonstrate? She asked. The bonding process itself, the enhanced healing rates, the psychological benefits, and the potential applications for emergency medicine. Dr. Yextai paused. There is one complication, however. What kind of complication? Marcus asked, though he could sense from Zarathil's emotional response that she already suspected. Some members of the Galactic Medical Authority are skeptical of human claims. They believe your species exaggerates its capabilities for political advantage. Marcus frowned. What do you mean? There are those who think human exceptionalism is propaganda designed to secure better trade agreements and territorial rights. They view reports of human resilience, adaptability, and healing factors as elaborate deceptions. So they want us to prove that humans aren't lying about being tough? Marcus asked, a hint of irritation creeping into his voice. Essentially, yes. They want objective, measurable proof of human medical capabilities under controlled conditions. Zarathil placed one of her hands on Marcus's arm, and he immediately felt her calming influence through their bond. What kind of proof? She asked. They want to observe healing bond formation with an injured human subject, monitor the accelerated recovery process, and verify the psychological stability benefits. Dr. Yextai's expression was apologetic. They also want to test human pain tolerance and injury recovery without medical intervention, to establish baseline comparisons. Basically, they want to hurt me and watch me heal, Marcus said flatly. In clinical terms, yes. Marcus was quiet for a moment, processing this through the bond while Zarathil shared her concerns about the ethics of such testing. Finally, he shrugged. Okay. Okay? Dr. Yextai's 4 eye stalks blinked in succession. Sure. If that's what it takes to prove that human synthery medical partnerships can help people, I'm in. Marcus, Zarathil said softly, they are discussing intentionally injuring you for the entertainment of skeptical medical professionals. They're discussing advancing medical science, Marcus corrected. If a few controlled injuries help prove that our bonding process can save lives across the galaxy, it seems worth it. Through their connection, he felt Zarathil's amazement and growing affection. Her people valued logic and scientific advancement, but they also respected courage and self-sacrifice for the greater good. There are risks, Dr. Yextai warned. The testing protocols suggested by some authority members are quite severe. They want to observe healing from injuries that would be life-threatening to most species. Like what? Bone fractures, deep lacerations, minor organ damage, severe burns. Dr. Yextai listed the proposals with obvious discomfort. They claim these tests are necessary to verify human durability claims. Marcus could feel Zarathil's horror through their bond, but he found himself nodding. Actually, that makes sense from a scientific perspective. If they want to verify human healing capabilities, they need to test real injuries, not just scratches. You cannot be serious, Zarathil said, her emotional distress flooding their connection. Think about it logically, Marcus said, taking her secondary hands while Dr. Yextai observed with fascination. If we can prove that humans can survive and recover from injuries that would kill most aliens, while demonstrating that synthari healing bonds accelerate that recovery, we establish credibility for both species. But the pain, the risk. I've been hurt worse playing football in high school, Marcus said with a grin. Besides, I'll have the best medical care in the galaxy monitoring me the entire time. Dr. Yextai made a note on one of his tablets. The psychological resilience displayed by humans continues to amaze our researchers. Most beings would be terrified at the prospect of voluntary injury. Humans are weird that way, Marcus agreed. We've always been willing to take risks for potential benefits. It's how we survived on Earth, and it's how we'll prove ourselves among the stars. The next few hours were spent reviewing the specific testing protocols that would be required. The Galactic Medical Authority had compiled an extensive list of procedures designed to evaluate human physical capabilities, pain tolerance, healing rates, and psychological stability under stress. Some of these tests seem excessive, Zarathil observed, reviewing the documentation. They want to fracture multiple bones simultaneously. To test healing prioritization, Marcus read over her shoulder. They want to see if human bodies can manage multiple severe injuries at once. And this proposal for induced blood loss? Testing the limits of human circulatory system resilience. Marcus continued reading. Oh, and they want to evaluate human function under extreme temperature conditions. That could cause permanent damage. Not if you're monitoring me through the healing bond, Marcus pointed out. You'd know immediately if anything went dangerously wrong, and your biorhythmic enhancements would help me recover faster. Through their connection, Marcus felt Zarathil's internal struggle. Her protective instincts warred with her scientific curiosity and her understanding of the greater implications of their work. There is another consideration, Dr. Yextai added. If the demonstration is successful, it could fundamentally change how humans are viewed throughout the galaxy. Currently, many species see your people as interesting but fragile newcomers. Proof of exceptional durability and medical compatibility could elevate human status significantly. Marcus understood the political implications. Humanity was still the newest member of galactic civilization, with limited influence and resources. Demonstrating valuable capabilities could lead to better trade agreements, research partnerships, and territorial rights. How long do I have to prepare? He asked. The conference is in 6 weeks. We would need to depart in 4 weeks to allow time for preliminary testing and calibration. What kind of preliminary testing? Baseline medical evaluations, psychological assessments, practice bonding procedures with controlled minor injuries. Dr. Yextai consulted his notes. The authority wants extensive documentation of the process before the formal demonstration. Marcus looked at Zarathil through their bond, feeling her mix of excitement, worry, and determination. What do you think? He asked her directly. I think, she said slowly, that this could establish medical protocols that save countless lives across multiple species. But, I also think the risks to you personally are significant. And I think that if any human could survive such testing while advancing medical science, it would be you. Her violet eyes met his. But, I insist on being the primary medical monitor for all procedures. Wouldn't have it any other way. Dr. Yextai observed their interaction with professional interest. The psychological bonding between your species is remarkable. Most medical partnerships require years to develop such trust and communication. Humans bond quickly, Marcus said. It's part of our survival strategy. We form tight groups, share resources, and protect each other. And Synthara healing bonds create immediate intimacy and shared responsibility, Zarathil added. Combined, the effect is quite powerful. Over the following days, they began preparation for the testing protocols. Zarathil designed monitoring systems that would track Marcus's vital signs, pain levels, and healing progress through their psychic connection. Marcus started physical conditioning to optimize his already impressive human durability. The station's other residents had mixed reactions to the news. Engineer Court, Marcus's Krixtal friend, was enthusiastic about the potential for improved emergency medical procedures. The Morquan workers were impressed by human willingness to endure pain for scientific advancement. A few species expressed concern about the ethics of voluntary injury, but most understood the importance of the research. You realize, Zarathil said one evening as they reviewed test protocols in their shared quarters, that if this demonstration succeeds, our relationship will become a matter of galactic public record. Meaning? Meaning will be the poster couple for human synthery cooperation. Medical schools across the galaxy will study our bonding process. Diplomatic Corps will reference our partnership in interspecies relations. Marcus considered this. Does that bother you? Not exactly. But it changes things. We won't just be a couple anymore, we'll be representatives of our species' potential for cooperation. So, no pressure, Marcus said with a laugh. Through their bond, he felt her amusement and affection. No pressure at all. As they continued their preparations, Marcus reflected on how much his life had changed. A month ago, he'd been a simple cultural exchange participant, learning about alien technology and customs. Now he was preparing to demonstrate human resilience to the galaxy's medical establishment, while representing the potential for unprecedented interspecies cooperation. It was exactly the kind of challenge that made humans great, he thought. Take an impossible situation, find a way to make it work, and use the outcome to help others. Whether they were surviving on a hostile planet or proving their worth to skeptical aliens, humans always found a way to adapt and thrive. And, with Zarathil beside him, monitoring his health and sharing the risks, Marcus felt confident they could handle whatever tests the Galactic Medical Authority had in mind. After all, he had the best medical care in the galaxy, and a partner who believed in both human potential and the importance of advancing medical science for everyone. The bond between them hummed with shared determination and growing love. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as partners in the truest sense of the word. Kepler Station was the crown jewel of galactic medical facilities, a massive space habitat that housed the most advanced research laboratories and treatment centers in known space. As their transport approached the docking bay, Marcus pressed his face to the viewport, watching the elegant spiral architecture unfold before them. "Impressive," he said, feeling Zarathil's nervous anticipation through their bond.
"How many medical professionals are we talking about?"
"The conference typically attracts around 3,000 attendees," Dr. Yextai replied from across the passenger compartment. "This year's attendance is expected to exceed 5,000, largely due to interest in our presentation." "No pressure," Marcus muttered, though he could feel his own excitement building. The preliminary tests had gone better than anyone expected. His healing rates under Synthari bioresonance had broken existing records, while Zarathil's enhanced abilities had allowed her to treat conditions previously considered untreatable. The past month of preparation had strengthened their bond considerably.
What began as a medical partnership had evolved into something deeper, a connection that transcended species boundaries.
Marcus could now sense Zarathil's emotional state from across the station, while she could monitor his physical condition with unprecedented precision.
"Remember," Dr. Yextai said as they prepared to dock, "some of the authority members remain skeptical. Dr. Kethvar of the Zelanti Medical Institute has publicly questioned whether human durability claims are exaggerated. Dr. Silthara from the Arcturian Health Collective believes the bonding process is psychosomatic rather than physiological."
"Let me guess," Marcus said. "They want to see proof that can't be faked or explained away."
"Precisely.
Which is why the testing protocol has been designed to be particularly thorough." Marcus had reviewed the final testing schedule. It was more extensive than anything he'd undergone during preparation. The authority wanted to observe healing from multiple severe injuries simultaneously, test human pain tolerance under extreme conditions, and monitor the bonding process in real time during medical trauma.
"The demonstration will be broadcast live to medical facilities across the galaxy," Zarathil added quietly. "If we succeed, it could change interspecies medicine permanently. If we fail..."
"We won't fail," Marcus said firmly. Through their bond, he projected confidence and determination, feeling her anxiety begin to settle in response.
Kepler Station's docking procedures were remarkably efficient.
Within an hour, they were settling into their assigned quarters in the medical guest wing. The accommodations had been designed to accommodate multiple species, with adjustable atmospheric controls, variable gravity fields, and modular furniture. "Tomorrow we have orientation meetings with the Testing Oversight Committee," Dr. Yextai explained as they unpacked.
"The day after that, preliminary demonstrations for the review board. The main presentation is scheduled for 3 days from now." Marcus nodded, testing the room's gravity controls.
Human standard was comfortable, but he'd learned to function effectively in a wide range of gravitational conditions.
"What's the preliminary demonstration involve?" "Basic bonding procedures, minor injury healing, psychological compatibility testing."
"Nothing dangerous, but they want to verify our claims before approving the full demonstration."
That evening, they attended a reception for conference participants.
The main hall was filled with beings from dozens of species, all engaged in animated discussions about medical advances, research breakthroughs, and treatment innovations. Marcus attracted considerable attention. Most attendees had heard about the human synthery bonding research, but few had ever met a human in person. He found himself surrounded by medical professionals asking questions about human anatomy, healing processes, and cultural practices. "Is it true that humans can survive injuries that would be fatal to most species?" asked Dr. Velterra, a crystalline being whose people were known for their analytical minds.
"We're pretty resilient," Marcus admitted. "Evolution on a hostile planet tends to select for durability."
"But the reports claim healing rates that seem implausible," interjected Dr. Kethvar, the Zelanti skeptic that Dr. Yextai had mentioned. "Broken bones mending in days, deep wounds closing in hours, recovery from blood loss that should cause permanent damage."
Marcus could feel Zarathil's irritation through their bond. The Zelanti physician's tone was dismissive, almost insulting. "Human healing rates are well documented," she said diplomatically. "Documented by humans," Dr. Kethvar replied. "We prefer objective verification."
"Which is why we're here," Marcus said calmly.
"You want proof? We'll provide it."
Dr. Silthara, the Arcturian physician, approached with several colleagues. "We're particularly interested in the psychological aspects of this bonding process." The claimed emotional stability and mental resilience seem convenient for medical applications.
Convenient how? Marcus asked.
If human psychological responses to trauma can be mitigated through psychic bonding, it suggests that much of what your species calls toughness is actually mental conditioning rather than physical capability. Marcus felt Zarathil's growing anger through their bond, but he remained calm.
That's an interesting theory. I guess we'll find out during testing.
The reception continued for several hours, with Marcus fielding increasingly skeptical questions about human capabilities. Some physicians seemed genuinely curious about the research, while others appeared determined to expose what they considered exaggerated claims.
They're setting us up for failure, Zarathil observed later as they returned to their quarters. The questions were designed to create doubt about human capabilities.
Let them doubt, Marcus said, settling onto the room's adaptive seating.
Skepticism is healthy in science.
Besides, proving skeptics wrong is one of humanity's favorite pastimes. Through their bond, he felt her admiration for his composure.
Are you not concerned about the testing protocols? Honestly? I'm looking forward to it. Marcus grinned. These people think humans are fragile newcomers who exaggerate their capabilities. Proving them wrong will be deeply satisfying. The next morning brought their first official meeting with the Testing Oversight Committee.
The conference room was filled with senior medical professionals from across the galaxy, their various anatomies requiring specialized seating and environmental controls. Committee Chair Dr. Nexera, a dignified Vorthan with flowing tentacles and bioluminescent patches, called the session to order. We are here to review the protocols for testing human medical capabilities and the claimed bonding effects with Synthari practitioners.
The formal presentation of their research took 2 hours.
Marcus and Zarathil demonstrated basic bonding procedures, shared their data on enhanced healing rates, and explained the psychological benefits of their partnership. Impressive preliminary data, admitted Dr. Velterra. But the healing rate improvements seemed too significant to be solely biological.
What do you suggest? Zarathil asked.
That the effects are primarily psychological. Human belief in accelerated healing, combined with Synthari confidence in their abilities, creating a placebo effect that appears to improve actual recovery rates. Marcus exchanged glances with Zarathil through their bond.
You think we're unconsciously faking the results? Not intentionally. But psychological factors can significantly influence healing outcomes. Without objective verification under controlled conditions, we cannot rule out psychosomatic effects.
Dr. Kethvar leaned forward.
Which brings us to the testing protocols. We've designed procedures that will eliminate psychological variables and measure actual physical capabilities.
The testing schedule they presented was even more extensive than Marcus had expected. Multiple bone fractures, severe lacerations, controlled burns, blood loss protocols, temperature extremes, and pain tolerance evaluation.
Each test would be monitored by multiple independent medical teams to ensure objective results.
These protocols seem excessive, Dr. Yextai observed diplomatically.
They're necessary for proper verification, Dr. Silthara replied.
If human capabilities are as remarkable as claimed, they should be able to withstand rigorous testing.
Marcus studied the proposed procedures. Some of the tests would be genuinely dangerous, with potential for permanent injury if something went wrong.
But the monitoring protocols were extensive, with multiple safeguards and emergency procedures.
I agree to the testing, he said finally.
Marcus, Zarathil said through their bond, her concern flooding their connection.
All of it, Marcus continued. But I have conditions. What conditions? Dr. Nexera asked.
First, Zarathil monitors my vital signs throughout all procedures. If she determines that continuing would cause permanent damage, testing stops immediately.
Agreed.
Second, if the tests prove human capabilities are as claimed, the Galactic Medical Authority formally recognizes the validity of human Synthari medical partnerships and supports expanded research.
That seems reasonable, Dr. Nexera said after consulting with other committee members.
Third, the complete testing protocols and results are shared with human medical authorities on Earth, regardless of outcome.
Also acceptable. Marcus nodded. Then, we have an agreement.
The remainder of the day was spent on technical preparations. Medical monitoring equipment was calibrated for human physiology, emergency procedures were reviewed, and baseline measurements were established. Marcus underwent comprehensive scans to document his pre-testing physical condition.
The bone density readings are remarkable, observed the lead technician, a multi-armed Krixtal engineer. Human skeletal structure is significantly more robust than theoretical projections suggested.
Evolution on a high-gravity world with dangerous predators, Marcus explained.
We needed to be able to take hits and keep moving.
And, the muscle fiber analysis shows unusual resilience to damage, added another technician.
Most species would suffer permanent injury from the trauma you regularly experience during physical activity. The preliminary demonstrations went smoothly.
Marcus allowed them to create minor cuts and bruises, demonstrating human healing rates under normal conditions.
Then, Zarathil established a healing bond, and they repeated the procedures.
The results were undeniable. With the bonding active, Marcus's healing rate increased by nearly 40%, while his pain responses were significantly muted. More importantly, Zarathil's monitoring capabilities allowed her to detect and treat complications before they became serious.
Fascinating, Dr. Velterra admitted. The biorhythmic synchronization appears to be genuine.
The pain response modifications are particularly intriguing, Dr. Silthera added. The human maintains full awareness and cognitive function while experiencing reduced suffering from injuries. That's the point, Zarathil explained. The bonding doesn't eliminate protective pain responses, but it prevents trauma-related psychological damage while allowing for more aggressive treatment protocols. As the day concluded, Marcus could sense a shift in the committee's attitude. The preliminary results had been impressive enough to generate genuine scientific interest, though skepticism remained about the more extreme claims.
Tomorrow's full demonstration will be more challenging, Dr. Nexera warned. The protocols are designed to push human capabilities to their documented limits.
Understood, Marcus replied. That evening, he and Zarathil spent time strengthening their bond connection. The testing would be stressful for both of them, and they needed their partnership to function flawlessly under pressure. Are you certain about this? She asked as they practiced monitoring techniques.
Absolutely.
Through their bond, Marcus projected calm confidence.
This is what humans do.
We take on challenges that seem impossible and find ways to succeed. Besides, I have the best medical support in the galaxy. The risks are real, Marcus. Some of the procedures could cause permanent damage or death if complications arise. Then, we'd better make sure that doesn't happen. He took her primary hands in his.
I trust you completely. Do you trust me?
Through their connection, he felt her deep affection and growing confidence.
With my life. Good. Because tomorrow, we're going to show the galaxy what human synthery partnerships can accomplish.
As they prepared for sleep, Marcus reflected on how far they'd come.
From an accidental medical bonding to representing interspecies cooperation before the galaxy's medical establishment.
It was exactly the kind of impossible situation that humans thrived in, and exactly the kind of scientific advancement that synthari medicine was designed to achieve.
Tomorrow would determine whether their partnership could survive the ultimate test of human durability and synthari healing arts.
But, whatever happened, they would face it together, as true partners in every sense of the word. The main demonstration chamber was a marvel of medical engineering, equipped with monitoring systems from dozens of species and configured to accommodate the most advanced treatment protocols in galactic civilization. Marcus stood in the center of the transparent containment field, surrounded by observation galleries filled with medical professionals from across known space. Live broadcast confirmed to 47 star systems, announced the facility coordinator. Medical academies, research stations, and hospital facilities throughout the galaxy are monitoring this demonstration. Marcus could feel Zarathil's nervous energy through their bond as she performed final calibrations on the monitoring equipment. Her four hands moved with practiced precision, but he sensed her underlying worry about the risks they were taking.
All systems operational, she reported to the Oversight Committee.
Biorhythmic monitoring is stable, emergency medical protocols are active, and healing bond synchronization is at optimal levels. Dr. Nexera addressed the assembled audience through the station's communication system.
Today's demonstration will test the limits of human physiological resilience while evaluating the claimed benefits of synthari healing bonds. The procedures have been designed to provide objective verification of capabilities that, if genuine, could revolutionize emergency medicine. First test, bone fracture healing under accelerated protocols, announced Dr. Kethvar, his skepticism still evident despite the previous day's preliminary results. The testing began with controlled fractures to Marcus's left arm. The procedure was performed by robotic surgical systems under careful supervision, creating clean breaks that would normally require weeks of healing time. Marcus gritted his teeth as the fractures were made, but, through the bond, Zarathil immediately began modulating his pain responses. Pain levels registering at 30% of predicted values, reported one of the monitoring technicians. Subject maintains full cognitive function and motor control. Zarathil's healing abilities, enhanced by their bond connection, began working immediately. Marcus could feel the warm tingling sensation as Synthari bioresonance frequencies accelerated his natural healing processes. On the monitors, his bone density readings showed rapid calcium deposition at the fracture sites. Remarkable, Dr. Velterra observed. Bone healing rates are exceeding theoretical maximums by significant margins. Within 6 hours, the fractures had healed sufficiently for Marcus to demonstrate full range of motion. X-ray scans showed complete bone fusion with no structural weaknesses or complications. Next phase, severe laceration protocol, Dr. Silthera announced. This test involved deep cuts across Marcus's back and legs, wounds that would normally require extensive surgical repair and weeks of recovery time. The cuts were made with precision medical instruments while Zarathil maintained continuous monitoring through their bond. Bleeding is minimal, observed the lead medical technician. Human clotting factors appear to be significantly enhanced. Through their connection, Zarathil guided Marcus's body's healing responses, optimizing circulation to damaged areas while preventing shock or blood loss complications. The wounds began closing visibly within hours, new tissue formation occurring at rates that amazed the observing physicians. The cellular regeneration patterns are unlike anything in our databases, Dr. Kethvar admitted, his earlier skepticism beginning to waver. Human healing capabilities are clearly far beyond our initial assessments. The testing continued throughout the day, each procedure more challenging than the last. Marcus endured controlled burns, simulated blood loss, extreme temperature exposure, and complex trauma scenarios. Through it all, Zarathil's monitoring and healing support kept him stable and functional. But it was the final test that truly demonstrated the power of their partnership. The Oversight Committee had designed a scenario that combined multiple severe injuries simultaneously, the kind of trauma that would normally be fatal to most species. This is extremely dangerous, Dr. Yextai warned as they prepared for the final demonstration. Multiple system trauma with this severity level has never been attempted under controlled conditions. That's why we're here, Marcus replied. Through the bond, he projected calm confidence to Zarathil, though he could feel her deep concern about the risks involved. The final test involved a combination of fractures, lacerations, controlled burns, and induced blood loss, all occurring simultaneously while Marcus remained conscious and responsive. It was designed to simulate the kind of severe accident or combat injury that would typically result in death or permanent disability. As the procedures began, Marcus felt pain levels that would have overwhelmed most beings. But Zarathil's healing bond allowed him to maintain focus and consciousness, her Synthari abilities working to stabilize his condition while his enhanced human healing processes began repair work on multiple fronts. Vital signs are stable despite trauma levels that should be fatal, reported the monitoring team. Subject maintains consciousness and cognitive function. The observation galleries fell silent as medical professionals witnessed healing rates that defied their understanding of biological processes. Marcus's body was repairing multiple severe injuries simultaneously while maintaining normal brain function and organ operation. The bonding effect is creating synergistic healing responses, Dr. Velterra observed in amazement. Both subjects are demonstrating capabilities that exceed their individual species limits. Through their connection, Marcus could feel Zarathil drawing on his emotional stability and resilience while providing him with enhanced healing frequencies and pain management. They had become a single medical system, each compensating for the other's limitations while amplifying their strengths. This is impossible, Dr. Kethvar muttered, reviewing the continuous stream of monitoring data. No biological system should be capable of this level of trauma recovery. Not impossible, corrected Dr. Nexera. Just previously undocumented. These results suggest that interspecies medical bonding could enable treatment protocols that were previously considered too dangerous to attempt. As the day concluded, Marcus stood before the assembled medical professionals with all his injuries healed and his vital signs stable. What should have been career-ending trauma had been reduced to an interesting medical exercise through the power of human synthery partnership.
The demonstration has exceeded all expectations, Dr. Nexera announced to the gathered audience.
Human physiological capabilities are clearly far beyond our initial assessments, while Synthari healing bonds provide unprecedented medical support. The applause from the observation galleries was thunderous, representing recognition from the galaxy's most respected medical authorities.
Through their bond, Marcus felt Zarathil's pride and relief, mixed with amazement at what they had accomplished together. The Galactic Medical Authority hereby formally recognizes the validity of human Synthari medical partnerships, Dr. Nexera continued. We recommend immediate establishment of expanded research programs and clinical trials across multiple star systems.
In the days that followed, their demonstration sparked a revolution in interspecies medicine. Human volunteers began arriving at Synthari medical facilities throughout the galaxy, while Synthari healers traveled to human colonies to establish bonding programs. The improved treatment protocols they had proven possible began saving lives across multiple species. Marcus and Zarathil found themselves appointed as directors of the new Human Synthari Medical Cooperation Initiative, with resources and authority to establish treatment centers wherever they were needed. Their partnership had evolved from accidental bonding to the foundation of a new era in galactic healthcare. No pressure, Marcus joked as they reviewed their new responsibilities in their expanded laboratory facility. None at all, Zarathil replied, though her amusement came through clearly via their bond.
We're only responsible for revolutionizing medicine across 47 star systems.
The months that followed brought a steady stream of success stories. Human Synthari medical teams were saving lives that would have been lost under traditional treatment protocols. Emergency response times improved dramatically with bonded pairs who could monitor patient conditions through psychic links.
Surgical procedures became safer and more effective with enhanced human durability and Synthari precision. But, beyond the medical achievements, their partnership had demonstrated something even more important to galactic civilization. It proved that humans weren't just another species seeking resources and territory, but beings capable of forming deep, meaningful relationships that transcended biological differences.
The political implications have been remarkable, Administrator Vexlon observed during one of their progress reviews.
Human diplomatic status has improved significantly since your demonstration. Other species now view your people as valuable potential partners rather than primitive newcomers. Marcus nodded, understanding the broader impact of their work.
Humans have always been social creatures.
We form bonds, build communities, and work together to solve problems.
It's one of our greatest strengths. And Synthari medicine has always focused on holistic healing through connection and understanding, Zarathil added.
Our cultures complement each other naturally. As their first anniversary of bonding approached, Marcus reflected on how dramatically his life had changed. What began as a routine medical checkup had evolved into a partnership that changed interspecies medicine forever. They had proven that humans and aliens could work together not just politically or economically, but on the most intimate level of shared biology and psychology.
Any regrets? Zarathil asked one evening as they reviewed applications from potential bonding candidates.
Marcus considered the question seriously. His life now involved constant travel between medical facilities, regular demonstrations of human durability for skeptical audiences, and the responsibility of training new human Synthari medical teams. It was demanding, sometimes dangerous, and completely different from the simple cultural exchange he had originally signed up for.
None, he said finally. This is exactly what I hoped to accomplish when I volunteered for the Alien Exchange Program.
Building bridges between species, proving that humans belong in galactic civilization, and helping people in the process. Through their bond, he felt her deep contentment and love. Their partnership had grown beyond medical necessity into genuine affection and shared purpose. They were no longer just a human and an alien working together, but true partners in every sense of the word.
The next group of candidates arrives tomorrow, Zarathil noted, reviewing their schedule. 12 humans and 8 Synthari, all volunteers for the new bonding program. Ready to expand the family? Marcus asked with a grin. More than ready. Though I do hope the next group handles the bonding process with less drama than we did.
Marcus laughed, remembering their awkward first conversation about healing bonds and cultural obligations. Hey, dramatic bonding stories make for better training materials.
Besides, how else would we have ended up married? Technically, we are not married by human standards, Zarathil pointed out. Though the legal and emotional bonds are equivalent. Close enough for me.
Marcus pulled her into an embrace, careful of her forearms.
Partner, bonded mate, wife, whatever you want to call it. You're stuck with me now.
I believe the correct phrasing is "you belong to me now," she said, echoing the words that had started their unlikely partnership.
That too, Marcus agreed. Best medical mistake I ever made. As they settled in for the evening, Marcus looked out at the stars through their laboratory windows.
Somewhere out there, human synthery medical teams were saving lives, proving human worth to skeptical aliens, and building the foundations for deeper interspecies cooperation. All because one human had joked about accidental marriage to an alien nurse, and she had taken the commitment seriously. It was, Marcus thought, a very human way to change the galaxy. Take an impossible situation, find the humor in it, and use the results to help everyone involved. And if it meant spending the rest of his life bonded to one of the galaxy's most brilliant medical professionals, well, that was just a bonus. Through their connection, he felt Zarathil's agreement and shared anticipation for whatever challenges awaited them. Together, they would continue proving that humans belonged among the stars, not through conquest or domination, but through partnership, understanding, and the simple human principle that everyone deserved the best medical care possible. The healing bond between them hummed with shared purpose and deep affection, a connection that had transcended species boundaries to become something entirely new. They were pioneers of interspecies cooperation, founders of revolutionary medical protocols, and, most importantly, partners who had found love in the most unlikely circumstances. It was exactly the kind of impossible success story that made humans legendary throughout the galaxy.